Hello friends, and welcome back to Seasonally Productive. Today I'm sharing a video of a weekend we had. It was a busy one, but the day before, so the Friday, the kids and I went out to my parents and harvested a bunch of crab apples. I got a bunch of stinging nettle and some goldenrod and a couple other things. So this weekend my goal is to get these apples finished up, as well as all of these beans that I had to deal with. I got some from the produce stand, and then the green ones are from my garden. But first we need to get these nettle put away. I did go ahead and dry them out in the oven, the buds, so those have to get put in the jars, and then just a little bit of odds and ends in this basket. Clean up. Had some muffins going. I got some tomatoes from my friend Amanda here that need to be something done with, just put away off the counter. Got meat thawing for supper. I got a box of peaches out. That'll be in the next video. Yes, this was my second box of peaches. And then in the fridge I had some cucumbers that I wanted to get done up too. So the first thing I'm doing is just getting the sink full of water, and then I'm going to start dumping apples in, getting them cleaned up and chopped up into what I'm going to be using them for. First, I'm getting a bag filled for my friend Amy. She likes to use crab apples too, but she didn't get to pick any this year. So I am going to share a bag full with her. I actually haven't even asked her if she got to chopping them up or what happened with them. But I did fill one grocery bag with apples for her, and I took them to her this morning. This was Saturday now. And then the rest, I have in the sinks, and then I'm going to chop them up into my crock pot for apple butter. And I'm also going to fill the big pot there, my big stock pot, for apple sauce. So I start by filling the big pot, and then you're gonna see I dump it into the crock pot. I don't know, it was like this wacky thing. And then I ended up filling the big pot anyway. But in the meantime, I did go to the market with my friend Amy, and this was like the Catholic church. So they had Concord grapes and onions, and we got some baking and tomatoes. There's also a family down the street selling tomatoes and fresh bread, so I got a pack of those, and it was just lovely. I love farmers markets. Anytime I can go and support a farmer, or in this case it was donations to the church, then I am happy to do so. I love fresh produce. So you'll see here is when I swapped out my stock pot for my crock pot, and the reason I decided to do that was because I didn't want to have to keep an eye on this, and it was going to be
and the whole town said that he should have used red, but it looked good to Charlene.
I didn't want to have to keep an eye on this, and it was going to be getting used, like it had to be run for a long time, and I wasn't going to be able to watch it the whole time because it was a weekend and we were going to be in and out and here and there. So I'm kind of doing the more yuckier ones, the ones that might have some spots or bruises or whatever, for the butter and the applesauce, and then the rest I did, and then I just had a little bit left that I put in a freezer bag. So like I said, this was Saturday morning. We kind of spent the whole morning at home getting some stuff done, and then I think we had a quick lunch or a big brunch, I can't even remember, and then we went out to our family farm. So in the back of the truck we have my bike and the kids' 2 bikes, Clayton's bow, some other supplies, and Clayton does ride his bike out usually when we go out to the farm, the family farm. So here's the kids on their dirt bikes. So that was fun. We stayed there. The next morning I ended up getting up before everybody else to make some yummy Saskatoon muffins with berries we picked this summer, of course, wild berries, and we were going to be going fishing, so we wanted to be at the boat ready to go for 8 o'clock, so I got up earlier than everybody else and got these muffins going. In the meantime, our son, he is turning 6 right away, he came and joined me in the kitchen. He's usually up before his sister in this season of life, and he loves to just be with mama and snuggle, and he would have loved to help bake too, I'm sure, but I pretty much had everything done by the time he got there with me. This recipe is from the company's Coming cookbook. It's actually their blueberry muffin recipe, but if you've had Saskatoons, you know they are way better than blueberries. So yeah, And I also add extra. And I'm not sure if I had it in this time, but I almost always add lemon rind and lemon juice from a real lemon, because I love that extra little bit of lemony flavor with Saskatoons or blueberries. So those went in the oven, and then I'm just stirring, getting the apple butter put through the mill, and that's going to go back in the crock pot because I'm actually taking it to the lake so that it can be going while we are out on the boat. And here's my little guy, he comes up. We're having a little morning chat. He forgot we were going fishing. You gotta get dressed. What? You gotta get dressed and go.
Oh, where?
Fishing.
I thought we were going somewhere.
Yeah. We can
need more muffins.
We need some Saskatoon muffins. Alright, now we're out on the boat. It was a beautiful, calm, peaceful morning. My husband and our son, our daughter was here too, but she was at the back of the boat with my parents, and I just didn't want to put them in the video. But yeah, it was just a beautiful, beautiful morning, and there was fish jumping everywhere, which was infuriating because we really didn't catch that much. My dad caught the first fish, a little perch, and then my husband caught a walleye, and then our daughter got this on her little rod. Keep reeling, man. Oh my god! Look at it! Oh my god! Get it, Mom! So this was about a 10-pound jackfish. Jackfish in hot Saskatchewan are not the best, but we did process it, and we are going to smoke it. And we ended up having walleye that night for supper. But yeah, our daughter, she was pretty happy with her big catch on her little rod. We also saved all the bones from the jackfish, and we're going to, at some point, can them. There's a recipe my mom uses, and it like the bones all dissolve, and it turns out to be like salmon, like candied salmon. So we're going to try that. And then we came home, so this is still Sunday, but in the afternoon, and I decided to get these pickles done. So I'm just using the brine from the last video. Actually, I think you saw me put it in these jars, and I'm just heating that up, getting a jar in the oven to heat, and then cleaning up my mess that I left all weekend because, like I said, we were busy. This happens sometimes, real life. I don't always get to cleaning my kitchen, even though I love when I do. And then I'm cleaning up the cucumbers, and I'll get them put into jars here with brine over top. And on the stove there is the apple sauce that's going in the big stock pot. So to my jars I'm adding the big jar I have 2 cloves of garlic, or 3 maybe, then the cucumbers, and I'll also add some dill in there. And yes, I am just using a reused jar from the store, and typically I don't have any issues with this. This time it did not seal, which is fine. I just stuck it in the fridge, and it'll get used up in, within a timely manner, and there's going to be no issues with that. But that's what I do. If you're not comfortable with that, don't do it. I did have a few extra cucumbers, so I did slice them up into another little, what is this, a pint jar? And I had just enough brine to go over top of that. And all over the counter too. Then everybody was tired Sunday night. We put a movie on, and I was just kind of tidying up. These tomatoes are still here, getting the apple butter dealt with. My husband's making popcorn, and the apple sauce, that all needed to be kind of dealt with. And then I had a bunch of beans, so while we were watching the movie, I was just cleaning up those beans, and then I was going to blanch, dry, and freeze them. So I've got them all cleaned up, snapped. I'm going to run my applesauce through the mill because I need this pot to blanch all those beans since there was so many. So just running that through, and that'll sit in the fridge overnight until I end up canning it. So I did finish up some stuff on Monday. I don't think I filmed any of it just because it was pretty straightforward stuff, just canning applesauce and bagging the beans. So here's the apple butter. It's also going to go in the fridge. I did end up adding some sweeteners and some spices to this, but pretty mild. So just blanching these beans for a minute or two and then dunking them in the ice bath. And then they'll get laid out on a towel to dry. And I did actually put them in the freezer on a cookie sheet to flash freeze before I put them into freezer bags. But that's gonna do it for this video. Everything I got here is awesome. This is the first time I actually canned applesauce. I usually just freeze it, but it ended up, you know, saving me some freezer space, so I thought I would try it this way. As you can see, I got quite a bit. And then the little apple butter jars, and the frozen beans. Thanks so much for watching, and there's more harvest preservation videos coming, so if you're interested, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so I can see you in the next one. Thanks again. Bye.